Welcome back, I am Largo, and today we're going to check out another death battle. This one was a commenter suggestion, so thank you very much for that. This one's going to be Flash versus Sonic, guys, and I don't know if you could tell already, but I'm a little biased, and I think I've made my decision already. That being said, let's go ahead and jump right into it, see what the guys at Death Battle have to say. Now, we are talking about Wally West, who is, in canon, the fastest of the Flashes. So Sonic had better be bringing some pretty impressive feats because the Flashes, guys, and I mean all of the Flashes, but especially Barry Allen and Wally West, those two guys in particular are really something else when it comes to the entire concept of speed. So let's jump right into it and see what they say.
Speed. It's the ultimate sensation on the human body.
And today we're pitting together two of the fastest characters out there.
With these two, speed is far more than simply moving fast. Wally West, the fastest Flash from DC Comics.
And Sonic from Archie Comics, the most supersonic Sonic of all the Sonics. He's Whiz and I'm Boomstick.
And it's our job to analyze their weapons, armor, and skills to find out who would win a death battle.
All right, before I get into it, let me preface this by saying that I am a massive comic nerd. DC Comics is kind of my specialty, and the Flash of all the characters is my favorite. So not only am I biased, but I really know a lot about the character and his mythos. So let's see what they have to say. Maybe they'll teach me something I don't already know, but I do need to learn everything about Sonic.
The year was 1985, and the multiverse was in crisis. Infinite Earths were on the brink of total annihilation.
But one man could save the day by running really fast.
Really
the
fast.
The Flash. Ah!
To save everything and everyone, Barry Allen sacrificed his life.
But the Flash wasn't all gone. Barry had a sidekick. You might say a protege. Wally West.
Despite the impressive amount of coincidences Barry needed to gain his speed, many others have possessed the powers of the Scarlet Speedster. But for Wally, his own coincidence is unparalleled.
Let's see. President of the Flash fan club, nephew to Flash's girlfriend who introduced him, visited while Flash had a chemical lab set up exactly like it was when he got his powers. Then, just like Barry, Wally got struck by lightning that knocked him into the chemicals and boom, Flash powers. I wouldn't say this kid was super lucky, but he did get struck by lightning.
The true reason? Because Speed Force, a dimension of infinite kinetic energy which all Flashes draw their power from.
Speed Force, man, it's like the ultimate MacGuffin. Let's be real with it, right? Like, oh, why did this happen? Speed Force. Where did Barry go? Speed Force. Where was Wally the whole time? Speed Force. Why can they do this ridiculous stuff? Speed Force. Why don't physics matter? Speed Force.
And the DC writer's favorite scapegoat for retcons.
With his newfound ability, Wally joined Barry's crime-fighting heroics as Kid Flash. Strong of head and light of heart, he was more than a sidekick. He was a surrogate son.
So when Barry went poof, naturally Wally stepped up to be the next Crimson Comet himself.
As the Flash... Stop doing that. Wally obviously possesses incredible speed, easily surpassing that of light. He can run non-stop for multiple days.
Forget running! This guy looks at reality and spits in its face before giving it a swirly.
Wally can manipulate each and every one of his molecules to, for instance, survive the inside of a black hole. Barry even once regenerated from a cloud of gas.
I bet he never has any trouble with NARBs.
NARBs?
No apparent reason, boners? They're devious.
What?
Always pumping up where you least expect them.
Wally can create tornadoes, toss lightning, and heal from deadly blows. These techniques are rooted in scientific theory and often require a mathematical mindset. For example, by vibrating his body at very precise frequencies, he can turn invisible, phase through objects, tear things apart while phasing through them, and even enter fourth-dimensional space.
He can also phase through objects and impart his kinetic energy to it as he passes through it, causing it to explode from the inside out.
So you're saying he'd never be able to do any of this if he was dumb?
Well, that's exactly what I decided to find out when I laced your beer with cosmic kinetic energy. It'll kick in later. With a touch, Wally can steal another's speed and use it for himself. Specifically, he can take a person's kinetic energy.
That's a big one, man. That might come into play during battle, if, because he can give and take speed away from other people. or objects or anything.
Instantly stopping them in their tracks or even freezing them for centuries, even from those who are not linked to the Speed Force like Superman.
And his infinite mass punch can knock you across the whole planet.
Applying the laws of relativity, as Wally's fist approaches light speed, its mass technically grows to an infinite degree, striking with kinetic energy equivalent to a white dwarf star, or about 2.6 octillion tons of force. In fact, increasing the vibrational speed even further could break the universe.
The biggest nuke ever tested was 50 megatons. One punch from Wally is like 40 million of those.
Even more wild, Wally can change his vibration frequencies to affect alien energies that do not exist in his own reality.
It's how he helped take out these aliens called quantum mechanics.
Beings far beyond any physical dimension and immune to ordinary physics.
So, like a prism, Wally changed Superman's heat vision into super space magic to blast them all.
All this is absolutely insane to contemplate, but it is important to remember that Wally is somehow still human.
And a huge dork, but a fun one, not like Wiz over here. I mean, he got married and has kids, so...
Boomstick, I'm married.
What?
To my work. And Wally's family became sort of a cosmic lightning rod rooting him to reality when he time travels. Right? Boomstick, he can time travel. Isn't that fascinating?
I feel like you're trying to give me the runaround. Speaking of which, that's how he time travels, by running.
Should Wally become unmoored, he can outrun the Speed Force itself, even running to the end of reality where the concept of death no longer exists.
Yeah, he did
One
that.
time, he beat these gambler gods in a race across the universe, and, they could teleport.
To win, Wally achieved trans-time velocity in less than 1 unit of Planck time, which is so infinitesimal, it is the absolute edge of measurable time itself. He was so fast, reality does not have any means to calculate or even comprehend his speed.
That's f***ing crazy. But for some reason, Wally still felt unworthy of the Flash mantle. Come on, man, look at everything you can do.
Until one day, Barry returned.
Because Speed Force.
Barry!
To determine the fastest.
Barry is my personal favorite over Wally, and it did, I'm not gonna lie, it did take me a little while to come to appreciate Wally West the way he deserves to be appreciated. For a long time, I was very hesitant to accept Wally West as the faster of the two Flashes, but I have to admit it. I can't go around it. Wally is faster than Barry. Barry may actually generate and create the Speed Force. He's like the Speed Force generator, but Wally has perfected its use. Or maybe not perfected, but he's the most adept person when knowing how to use the Speed Force to its fullest extent. So... Wally's a beast, man. That's why I'm saying Sonic is gonna have to really bring some really impressive feats to even compete with the mantle of the Flash.
Flash of all, Wally and Barry raced each other. This simple contest nearly tore apart the entire multiverse.
But our kid Flash finally let it all out and won.
Even with those unimaginable feats, Wally's greatest challenge was proving his worth to himself.
He's not just another Flash, he's the fastest being in the multiverse.
Dude, as soon as you finish your drink, turn yourself in.
Got me again, Flash.
I want to pause it right here at this scene because this is something I actually wanted to mention. Is one of the reasons I really enjoy the Flash, one of the reasons that he's my favorite character of all time is not only because of his superpower, right? Obviously, super speed is one of the coolest, most useful, and overpowered abilities of all time, right? Because it doesn't matter what your ability is if you can't hit your target. But the other thing that I really love about the Flash is his character, how the character is written. Here in this scene, we see Orion, Batman, and the Flash in the bar with no name talking to the Trickster, which is one of the Flash's villains. Notice how they're not beating him up. Notice how nobody's attacking each other in this scene. Notice how Flash says, hey man, when you're finished with your drink, go turn yourself in. And his villain goes, okay, you got me. It's one of the things I love about the character of the Flash, whether you're talking about Barry or Wally, because here's a character who not only is he so good at being a hero that his villains know that there's no point in even fighting. There's no point in running. Where are you going to run from the Flash? You can't. You can't be done. They understand that. But on the flip side of that, the Flash also kind of understands people, you know, more so than Batman, more so than Superman, right? He's not a terribly damaged, crazy person like Batman. He's not an otherworldly alien from a different distant planet like Superman. No, he's a human dude that grew up, had a relatively normal life, and ended up with superpowers, man. He's the moral compass of the team, and his powers allow him to do things that other superheroes simply cannot do. There was one comic where a building had burnt down and a bunch of people had lost their homes. Flash comes in, obviously, saves everybody from the burning building, doing the superhero thing, just like Batman or Superman would have done. But what Batman and Superman would not have done was Superman would have said, okay, everybody, I saved the day, be safe, and fly off. Batman might save everybody, and he might go, okay, well, I'll have Wayne Industries come in afterwards and rebuild this apartment building for these people. It might take a couple months or something like that, but we'll rehouse these people. The Flash saw that these people had no home, so he ran to the library, read books on plumbing, electrical, construction, building, drywall, all this stuff, grabbed materials, transported everything there, rebuilt their homes. These people did not have to spend one afternoon homeless because the Flash took care of it immediately. There's versions of the Flash that know every single person in their city by name because they have the time and the patience to talk to everybody, to sit down, to have a conversation. And the greatest depiction of the Flash from Kingdom Come, there's no crime in his city whatsoever. If you were to so much as pull change out of your pocket and drop $1 and not notice, the Flash would grab it and put it back in your pocket before you even knew there was an issue. Like, that's how crazy this character is. Like, not only are his powers insane, but he's personable and likable and he's caring. He truly cares about his people and his city. And that's why, unlike Gotham, dude, they build statues to the Flash. He's got a whole museum. His city has a parade for him. Like, they love him because he genuinely loves his own people and takes care of them. Even his villains respect him. And we see that he really is the moral compass of the Justice League in several versions of the Justice League. In Injustice, he was one of the people who realized that what was happening was wrong and eventually left the regime. In the DC animated universe, there was an episode where the Justice League turns evil and turns into the Justice Lords. And the catalyst to that happening was their Flash died. They lost their moral compass. And when that happened, they went hard to the other side and became dictators. I mean, he reset the world in Flashpoint, saved everybody in Crisis on Infinite Earths. I mean, his sacrifice, his kindness, it just makes him not just a superhero, but he's a hero even to other superheroes. I'm gonna stop gushing about it now and we'll go.
Many years from now, Earth will be no more.
Yep, because these hentai aliens are gonna drop a bomb that kills everyone and transforms all the animals into furries.
Welcome to Mobius,
Whoa!
homeworld of Sonic Maurice Hedgehog.
Is that what happened? Is that the real canon for Sonic? Is tentacle monsters drop bombs on the planet and turned all the life forms into furries? Dude, is that the real story?
A guerrilla anthropomorphic freedom fighting group at war with the cybernetic empire of Ivo Robotnik, aka Dr. Eggman.
So, yeah, comic book Sonic is a little different from the video games. While leading his Care Bear Viet Cong in the fight against obesity and male pattern baldness, Sonic became a super skilled fighter. And he wasn't doing it for nothing. Robotnik had turned his entire family into robot slaves. What a dick.
Sonic is fast as always, but in this timeline, fast takes on new meaning. He's quick enough to create tornadoes, cause afterimages, turn invisible, phase through objects, and boost past light speed in the blink of an eye. He can dodge lightning and even move in between the raindrops of a downpour.
Look at this! he grabbed water and threw it like a baseball in less than 0.0000, a lot of zeros in a millisecond. He can run around the entire cosmic interstate in less than a day, and that's a highway that cuts through the multiverse. How does he get that fast on an all-chili dog diet? I mean, they give me the runs, but not that way.
He could reverse a black hole generator with his momentum alone, which then imploded, somehow sending him 849,000 light years away. Sonic's speed is so impressive that he can even move through stopped time. Let me repeat that. Time was frozen and he could still move.
It's pretty impressive. Okay, we're starting to get some good feats for Sonic. I mean, I haven't been impressed until I've heard that. That's pretty good.
There is no earthly method of measuring such impossibility. In the words of the comic itself, Sonic's speed is incalculable.
I know the Archie Sonic comics can get weird, like really weird, but that's just crazy.
You call it crazy, I call it chaos.
Just like my conception, I'm told.
No, I mean chaos as in the Chaos Force, an extra-dimensional field of infinite and omnipotent energy. This chaos takes physical form on Mobius in the shape of magical power rings and perfectly hewn emeralds.
And Sonic loves collecting those rings. By the time he'd scooped up 1 billion of them, the gods were so impressed they put him in a book of world records and gave him a permanent force field that makes him way tougher than anybody else.
Along with shielding his spirit and mind. But that's not all. By gathering a large amount of chaos energy, he can transform into the almighty golden Super Sonic.
Eat your heart out, Akira Toriyama.
Super Sonic possesses incredible power.
Yeah.
He can use chaos energy for defensive barriers and beams capable of shattering moons.
Somehow, he's even faster than before, and he's totally invincible. Like when he fought the demigod and possible power drink, Enerjack. This guy could rip people apart molecule by molecule. But no dice with Super Sonic.
Like the video game, Sonic's super forms have a time limit, and now this limit can even be cut short through overuse of power. However, he battled Enerjack from day into night, so it must be able to naturally last much longer than the games, potentially over an hour.
But that's not even his final form. If he's got something as good as a Super Emerald around, he can go Ultra.
Ultra Sonic appears to possess all of Super Sonic's abilities and then some. Specifically, he can tap into the raw magic of chaos.
Yeah, there's a bunch of wizards running around.
Okay, all right. So we're learning a couple things about Sonic I did not know. Did not know the rings were actually basically a manifestation of that chaos energy. I mean, let's be real with it. The Chaos Force or whatever, it's Sonic's version of the Speed Force, right? And that gets condensed down into rings and gems or emeralds or whatever. And he can draw the power from those to go fast. Okay, all right. Knew about Super Sonic. I have played some of the old games, maybe like the first 3 games, you know, back in the day. I haven't really kept up with it. I haven't played any 3D era games for Sonic. All right. So I knew about Super Sonic, and he's invincible, kind of like how Mario gets his star and turns invincible, stuff like that. So, okay. All right. He's got a couple impressive speed feats, but I'm not sold on him yet.
Archie Sonic Land, like this mammoth mogul guy. Turns out they're all using the same Chaos Force.
Ultra Sonic can manipulate matter at an atomic level, changing its fundamental makeup.
Turning air to water, moving rocks around, opening portals across space-time, that kind of stuff.
Oh, he can like
But while he's
transmute
never
too.
changed other living beings before, it's not totally out of the question. Right, dummy?
You're correct, Boomstick. Although Ultra Sonic is not as proficient, this ugly monster wizard uses the same chaos magic, and he changed a partial robot rabbit into a full regular rabbit. A sentence so absurd, it likely damaged my internal processor.
A sentence so absurd. I think I'm broken.
Don't worry, it was never great. I took it from a refrigerator. Ultrasonic has altered his own body to better traverse difficult terrain. With all this in mind, he could theoretically be able to change the molecular makeup of others too. Just like this.
Ow.
But if changing molecules isn't crazy enough, we need to talk about something even crazier.
Chaos itself. Chaos magic is typically used for one of 3 things: increasing physical ability, providing lost knowledge, and granting wishes.
Like a freaking genie, Sonic's wish to reverse brainwashing, turn back time, revive the dead, and even rewrote all reality in his whole multiverse with a Kamehameha Chaos Beam. Okay, If he can literally just wish his problems away, you'd think he'd have way less trouble dealing with a fat ginger named after breakfast food.
Honestly, he rarely did, but Sonic's a glutton for adventure and action. So over the years, he and the good doctor formed an unhealthy codependent relationship.
Just like us. Life's not the same without his oval-shaped enemy to beat up on. So they're back at it every chance they get. Come on, guys, just get a room already.
But after being defeated so many times, both Eggman and Mogul independently came to the same conclusion. By collecting so many rings and emeralds over the years, Sonic has become a literal embodiment of chaos itself. As in, he's a variable that cannot be accounted for, a wrench in the cogs of reality. Without him even realizing it, fate bends to him.
You know you're a badass when the most powerful chaos wizard out there decides the only way to...
Okay, so he's so juiced up on this chaos force juice that he's basically become a part of it. So pretty impressive, but not unlike the Flashes, who, especially Wally, who is so tapped into the Speed Force. Like, he's mainlining Speed Force directly into his soul. It's basically the same thing with him. You know, Sonic's over there mainlining Chaos Force and kind of becoming one with it, and Wally's over here mainlining Speed Force and basically becoming one with it. So I can definitely see the comparisons here.
beat you is to just wait until you die of old age.
It's ridiculous. It's absurd. It's unexplainable.
It's Sonic the freaking Hedgehog.
Ooh, I like to hang, but I got a juice.
All right, guys, here we go. Flash versus Sonic. My money is still on Flash. They said a couple neat things about Sonic, but honestly, I think the only thing that he really has going for him is like that supersonic speed. You know, when he turns gold, goes Super Saiyan, and that's because he's invincible during that time frame. However, it is on a timer. That's a limited time frame he has to do enough damage to the Flash. And man, like I said before, if it doesn't matter how strong you are, it doesn't matter what kind of powers you have if you can't hit your target. So still gonna have to give this to Wally. I think he's faster. As cool as some of the feats that they showed for Sonic is, I just don't think it's gonna be enough. So let's see if Supersonic or Ultrasonic can lay down enough damage in enough time, but if not, I'm giving it to Wally.
You really think you can outrun Wah?
I'm the fastest man alive.
Oh yeah, cherry flavored chump? I'm the fastest thing alive.
All right, the red streak versus the blue blur. Let's go.
Wanna bite?
What's the matter? You too slow?
Don't mess with the Hog's dogs!
I wonder if they're running on like a super long Mobius strip.
Say uncle!
Flash fact! I'm out of your league.
Whoa!
Stole his speed.
Thanks for the speed! Huh? A super emerald? I'll show you. Surprise!
Oh, here it is, Supersonic. Oh boy, come on. Oh, into a portal. All right, all right.
Whoa, 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 whoa!
All right, some transmutation there. A little ice. Yeah. Phasing. Oh, traveling through time, baby. Phasing through dimensions.
Nice try! But I'm invincible when I'm like this! You've mastered speed, but I've mastered fate! And I wish you gone forever!
Right, ultrasonic.
Chaos control!
Linda! Di! Iris! Help me now!
Infinite mass.
Huh?
Oh! Oh, that was pretty dope.
KO!
So that happened.
So that happened, right? I'm like, okay. So it he kind of went back in time and shattered the Chaos Emerald before he could use it. Is that what happened? I think that's what happened. Pretty dope though. Couple using sprites throughout it, right? Like 2D video game sprites. And then switched a couple times to custom animations, went through a couple different custom backgrounds, liked it. Showed several of each of their abilities, very nice. I think it turned out the way it should have turned out. Like I said, from the very beginning, I think the Flash had this in the bag very handily. Speedsters, I feel like speedsters are harder for people to conceptualize. There's a lot of people out there who think like Quicksilver could race the Flash, and they're not even in the same league. Dude, Quicksilver couldn't even race Sonic. Sonic would stomp all over Quicksilver. But I feel like speed's kind of hard for a lot of people to judge when it comes to powers and who's faster than who, just because it's kind of a very nebulous concept, especially when you're talking about the speeds that these characters get to. Overall, pretty good. So let's hear their breakdown.
Yeah, what happened?
What happened?
Well, this matchup was incredibly complex. Given their speeds were impossible to calculate, speed alone was, ironically, somewhat of a non-factor in comparison.
Kinda, yeah. Like other abilities, like phasing, stuff like that. I definitely think combat experience plays a role in it, so...
Sonic in his base form didn't really stand a chance against Wally. Sure, he did seem to survive being launched 849,000 light years into an alien planet by a black hole imploding. However, considering he's been knocked out by far less, black holes are already imploding stars, and it seems some snow also inexplicably survived the trip. It's probably more likely the black hole acted as a sort of wormhole in its last moments and sent Sonic directly there. But if we assume Sonic was indeed blasted through space, a black hole's last moment usually results in an abrupt detonation equivalent to 5 trillion tons of TNT. Impressive, but the infinite mass punch could still deliver over 2 quadrillion times more power.
But Sonic's super forms were a different story. They had answers to almost all of Wally's skills. His chaos energy could replenish stolen speed, he was invincible, and he had friggin' wish powers.
Personally,
Wish
I was
power.
expecting the opposite result. Against almost anybody else, Archie's version of Sonic is practically unbeatable.
Yeah, dude, I'm telling you, I'm not trying to diss on Sonic at all, because I'm gushing about the Flash. Dude, Sonic is fast. There's no question about it. And like they just said, if it was anybody else, Sonic probably would have won. If it was anybody else, man, I gave the example of Quicksilver. If it was Sonic versus Quicksilver, dude, this would have gone to Sonic. But you went for the Flash, man. You went for the tippy top of the very concept of what speed could even be, and that is the Flash, dude. Like, dude, his clothes are literally made of manifested speed force. His pants are made of goes fast.
But across a greater percentage of possible scenarios, Wally just happens to be the exception.
He had every counter he needed to. The speed steal wouldn't stop Supersonic, but Wally still got that stolen speed for himself.
Super and Ultrasonic were essentially batteries of unlimited kinetic energy Wally could pull from. Even with their speeds being incalculable, this meant Wally could ensure he was faster. Plus, Wally performed a lot more of those incalculable speed feats than Sonic ever did, so he technically held an experience advantage in that field.
Chaos Wish Power would be an insta-win against basically anybody, but Chaos Magic uses physical energy. And guess what? Wally could phase through reality warping energy.
And jump through time or vibrate to a higher spatial dimension to avoid Sonic altogether. Even though he had no way to take down Sonic's super forms, Wally has proven capable of effortlessly moving and vibrating at top speeds for days on end.
So it wasn't too hard for him to just wait out the super forms and strike at the first good opportunity.
And when it came to Ultrasonic's ability to alter atomic structures, Wally possessed perfect control over his own individual molecules.
But hey,
He also can't run from the Flash either, because not only can he phase through solid material, you know, he can go through buildings, walls, mountains, whatever. He can run across water, all that stuff. He can chase you through time. He can chase you through other dimensions. He's so fast that there's been instances where even spirits that exists in another realm of existence, like the spirit plane, Flash is able to see, he's able to vibrate himself through like all dimensions, right? Just like tuning a radio frequency. He's able to go through different frequencies and different vibrations and be able to tune himself in and be able to see and hear things he shouldn't be able to. He's able to see and hear like the ghost of Norman McKay, or like the specter of Norman McKay in the Kingdom Come series. Even the Spectre forgot about Flash's ability to do that. And he's like, oh crap, I forgot he can see us. Like there's no dimensions that are barred from the Flash. He can go and see anything he wants to. It's bonkers. It's truly bonkers.
Sonic's the embodiment of chaos. Fate automatically bends to him or whatever.
Except Wally has broken fate a few times himself. The best example being when he ran to the end of reality and forced the concept of death itself to die.
Yep.
Because Speed Force.
Simply put, Sonic's hypothesized nature as an anomaly in reality just wasn't enough protection against someone who could also break the rules of reality.
And remember, when Wally raced Barry, their speed almost tore apart the multiverse.
Both these characters understandably seem overpowered to an extreme fault, but it's important to remember that in their respective worlds, the story comes first. Sonic was impressive, improbable, inexplainable, but Wally had the power, the counters, and the speed he needed to pull ahead in this absolutely mind-bending battle. Oh, the drink is kicking in.
Whiz! I ran to Jupiter! I'm a god! A speed god!
Incredible. Tell me, what cosmic insight have you learned?
Just one thing. Well, Sonic didn't know it. The writing was on the wall, E!
The winner is the Flash.
All right, guys, that was Death Battle, Flash versus Sonic, Wally West versus Archie Sonic. Went the way that I knew it was gonna go, just because I know the Flash so well. And guys, there's very little that can beat one of DC's speedsters other than another one of their speedsters. Yes, there's some outliers and some MacGuffins that are plot hole centric, but when it comes to speed, guys, the Flashes, Barry Allen, Wally West, they are the tippy top of that mountain. They're the peak of speed. And that's just the way it is, guys. Hope you liked the reaction as much as I liked doing it. I always love nerding out about my favorite characters. If you did, go ahead and hit that like button. As always, consider hitting that subscribe button to help the channel out. Most importantly, leave a comment down below. What other death battles do you want to see me react to? What other web series, trailers, videos, or anything else you got? Leave it down in the comments and we can get to it in the future. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching the video. Thanks for stopping by. Take care of yourselves and have a great day.
While you still have a jaw. Hey! Would you guys please take it down a notch? Let me handle this. James, you're off your meds, aren't you?
I'm better off without him. Take him if I start feeling down.
You know that's not how the medicine works. You're not well.
I'm fine. You want to throw some darts?
No. Listen, James, you're wearing the suit again.
I am? Well, what do you know?
Here's the deal, buddy. Tell me where those guys went, and I promise to come see you in the hospital. We'll play darts. The soft kind.
Okay. They're gonna ambush you at the Flash Museum.
See? That's all we needed. Come on, we better get over there.
What about your enemy?
Oh, right. Dude, as soon as you finish your drink, turn yourself in.
Got me again, Flash.